Unprecedented support is coming to Israel from all over the world. Hamas's military wing, the Qassam Brigades, announced that it launched a comprehensive attack on Israel called the Aqsa Flood in the early morning hours of the previous day. While thousands of rockets were fired from Gaza towards Israel, militant groups affiliated with Hamas crossed the Israeli border and infiltrated the cities on the Gaza border. Afterwards, the Israeli army announced that it launched an air operation against Hamas targets in the Gaza Strip with dozens of warplanes. This sudden attack by Hamas targeting civilians caused astonishment not only in the Middle East but all over the world. The fact that Israel was caught unprepared for the attacks and that many innocent civilians lost their lives caused reaction against Hamas. Italian Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs Antonio Tajani said in his statement, "I met with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and other counterparts from Germany, France, the UK and the EU. As a government, we are following the situation in the Middle East with concern and are in close contact with our allies. We are working to prevent conflict from escalating. We support Israel's right to self-defense," he said. Tajani also shared a post on his social media account with a photo of the Prime Ministry building with the Israeli flag reflected on it. French Foreign Minister Catherine Colonna said in her statement, "Today, I met with my Israeli, Palestinian, Egyptian and Jordanian counterparts. Nothing can legitimize terrorism," she said. In the statement made by the Japanese Ministry of Foreign Affairs, it was stated that the launching of a series of rockets and the infiltration into Israeli territory from the Gaza Strip were strongly condemned and expressed their condolences to the families of those who lost their lives. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese: "Australia stands by our friend Israel during this period. We condemn Hamas's indiscriminate attacks against Israel and civilians. We recognize Israel's right to defend itself," he said. In the statement made by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Singapore, it was stated that Singapore strongly condemns the rocket attacks carried out from Gaza to Israel, which caused the death and injury of many innocent civilians, and called for an end to the violence. Latin American countries also did not remain silent about the attacks against Israel. While many Latin American countries offered their support to Israel, some states repeated their call for peace. Colombian President Gustavo Petro said that he wishes the tensions between Israel and Palestine to end soon. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva stated that he was shocked by the attacks on Israeli civilians and stated that they wanted to underline once again that they reject all forms of terrorism. Lula da Silva also called on the United Nations Security Council to prevent further escalation of the conflict between the parties. "I would like to express my strong condemnation of the brutal terrorist attack committed against the State of Israel," Argentinian President Alberto Fernandez said in his statement on the subject. He stated that we are ready to provide humanitarian aid to Israel in this difficult time. Chilean Foreign Minister Alberto Van Cleveren stated that they follow the terrorist attacks against Israel with great concern and asked for the violence to be stopped. In the statement made by the Mexican Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Hamas attack was condemned and condolences were shared with the Israeli people and families. In the statements made by Uruguay, Paraguay, Ecuador and Peru, they supported Israel and condemned the actions of Hamas. In the statement of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Bolivia, it was pointed out the importance of returning to peace immediately and called for the protection of human rights. In the statement, it was stated that the silence of the UN Security Council in the face of conflicts was followed with sadness, and that Bolivia, the UN and the international community should assume a historical responsibility by finding radical solutions. European Council President Charles Michel, EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, Josep Borrell, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, French President Emmanuel Macron, and British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak reacted to the attack and supported Israel on their social media accounts. Published messages. Officials from Canada, Greece, Bulgaria, Belgium, Spain, Italy, Switzerland, Ireland, Netherlands, Croatia, Austria, Czechia, Slovenia, Finland, Poland, Romania, Lithuania, Malta, Latvia, Estonia, Ukraine, Georgia, and Kosovo also joined Hamas. He reacted and published messages supporting Israel. In its written statement, the Azerbaijan-Israel Inter-Parliamentary Relations Working Group condemned the attacks against Israel and stands in solidarity with Israel at this difficult time. He stated, "We are ready for any military assistance that Israel needs." White House National Security Council spokesperson Adrienne Watson also condemned Hamas and stated that they stand with the Israeli government and people. In general, many countries expressed their open support to Israel while condemning the actions of Hamas for what happened. However, some critical countries followed a neutral policy and invited the parties to stop the conflicts. The most important of the countries making this call for neutrality is Turkey. In his speech on the subject, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan called on the Israeli and Palestinian sides to act with restraint and avoid impulsive steps that would further escalate tensions. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan held meetings with many of his counterparts since the morning of the previous day regarding the developments in Israel and Palestine. Minister Fidan had a telephone conversation with Qatari Foreign Minister Mohammed bin Abdurrahman Al Thani, Saudi Arabian Foreign Minister Faisal bin Farhan, Egyptian Foreign Minister Sami Shukri, Palestinian Foreign Minister Riyad al-Maliki, and Iranian Foreign Minister Hussein Amir Abdullahian. In the written statement made by the Turkish Ministry of Foreign Affairs regarding the developments, it was stated that the violence and tension experienced was met with deep concern, and that we attach great importance to the restoration of peace in the region as soon as possible, and are concerned about the increase in civilian casualties. The statement also emphasized that acts of violence and related escalations would not benefit anyone, and called on the parties to act with restraint and avoid impulsive steps. It is known to everyone that the current Turkish government is on the side of Palestine in the Israeli-Palestinian tension. However, the fact that relations between Israel and Turkey have started to improve again recently seems to have pushed the Turkish government to follow a policy of neutrality regarding this tension. Turkey's attitude towards the current Syrian administration is also seen as one of the reasons for the improvement in relations between the two countries. Turkey is not the only one calling for reconciliation in the conflict between Israel and Hamas. In the written statement made by the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Palestinian and Israeli parties were invited to a ceasefire and called for the implementation of the necessary moderation and the initiation of the negotiation process to ensure a permanent and comprehensive peace. In its written statement about the Bay, the Egyptian Ministry of Foreign Affairs warned that there would be terrible dangers of the ongoing attacks and tension between Palestine and Israel. In addition, the ministry called for a compromise to prevent further harm to civilians. United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk called for all measures to be taken to avoid civilian casualties and for an end to violence, calling for a reduction in tension. In light of all the support and calls for reconciliation, it would not be wrong to say that the region will not calm down anytime soon with Israel starting its operations against Hamas. However, we should not forget the fact that Hamas's attacks, especially targeting civilians, also legitimize Israel's right to self-defense. However, our hope is that civilians will not be harmed further. So what do you think about this issue? Please express your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to be informed about new videos. Thank you for watching us.